Hey! So, I don't know how this happened, but I have been drawing these two nonstop for over 10 years, and within that time frame, my OCs and I have ended up on very different paths. While their story is full of romance and intimacy galore, becoming key components of their character arcs, I have been actively repulsed at the idea of being in a relationship with anyone. Ever. I'm part of the Aroace spectrum, basically people who feel romantic or sexual attraction to a lesser extent than people outside the label, which means that while some may feel attraction every once in a while, others may fall into the "oh god, if any of this ever happens to me, I will vomit" category. You are going to be, so surprised as to which one I fall into. It'll be a shock to the system. There's a couple of elements to this, and it'll go somewhere, I promise. In my life, I've had crushes that are either very brief moments of, oh, this person is attractive, or one long-winded, years-spanning affection I had on one person, which made me realize that, in fact, I don't have a crush on them anymore, or anyone. This, of course, is a tragedy to the countless number of people who have pushed the idea of getting married onto my head. It's a cultural thing, for sure. A lot of Western and Eastern cultures define marriage as a lifelong milestone, the goal of any former or current girly pop. And as we all know, marriages always end well, and as a goal, everybody wants. Anyways, both my parents were forced into a politically arranged marriage, which, I'm gonna be honest, not the greatest decision, but it's not like either of them had a choice. And even besides my relatively unique and not unique circumstances, depending on if you have parents who were forced into a politically arranged marriage, you know how frequently people will talk to you about lifelong matrimony and having kids when you're an adult. And for those of you who haven't experienced it, get ready, it gets funky. I can't count how many times complete strangers have commented on how I still have time to get all these things done, this outstanding checklist of what would make me the perfect woman, an overworked and thankless job which, for many people around me, has little to no support, no village to help raise a child or take care of chores, no governmental guarantee that you'll be treated as a human. But it's your duty. And it's bad. Oh god, it's bad. It's so bad. One time, my mom joked with me that she'd marry me off to her coworker the next time we traveled to visit family, and I cannot describe to you the absolute anxiety and horror that consumed my body at that statement because, well, I'm at the age my parents were. Family history states. Love marriage parents get to joke about this, okay? You don't get to, it's off the table, alright? Immediately told her I'd never travel with her anywhere if she puts that energy into the air again. Absolutely not. The cultural sphere of romance and intimacy outside of these weird-ass moments in my life also reads to me as exhausting and, more importantly, all-encompassing. Romance is seen as the height of someone's life. Having someone you love romantically and sexually is idealized. You have to find the one. Polyam bitches be damned. And once you do, your relationship with them is the priority. And when you're not in a relationship, well, you've been on social media. How many times have you scrolled through comments on Instagram or Twitter with a cute couple photo and seen people go, "Aw, this is so adorable, I'm gonna jump in front of a train. God, when is it my turn?" Or how many people have you stumbled across in those really creepy Reddit posts where guys are like obsessed with trying to get laid or saying that they're considered lesser than because they haven't, that women are never giving them what they want. It's so... Ugh. I'm actually a little horrified that people are like this. Social media is in this weird state of semi-anonymity that makes humans say things that they really should have just brought into therapy. Oh my god. But seriously, with how pervasive these sentiments are, being with yourself, pursuing passions, caring more about platonic relationships is all seen as isolating, as if you've intentionally left a gap in your life that everyone else is determined to have filled. So why haven't you? Well, yeah, why haven't I? the world wonders. If I find intimacy so off-putting, why are the bozos within my possession doing this relationship? And why am I subjecting myself to drawing it? The romantic aspect of this, I can't show 17-year-old me is not safe for work drawings that she did to cope with college consuming her life on this channel. What was she on? Well, let me tell you. Real life intimacy is weird to me, but I don't think that romance or horniness is something that no one should experience ever. I'm happy that other people find benefit in it, and maybe, I don't know, if I end up finding someone, even though I never plan to, I think the thing that disappoints me is more so that so many people are fixated on this ideal. Passions, dreams, hanging out with friends is secondary to this beacon you're supposed to have. If you're planning to live with someone, then it's almost looked down upon when it's not a romantic interest. Even if my dream is to have a giant house full of friends that I can hang out with, if you're not actively on dating apps or flirting with people, it's seen as sad. But for me, since I seldom have strong attractions to people, I just can't see a life where I devote everything to one other person. I adore creating. I put friendships above romantic or sexual relationships, and it tends to throw many people off kilter. How is that a full life? I think, like any other artist who writes countless stories, I want to filter these experiences and things I've never experienced into my own works. I've never dated just as much as I've never experienced a fantasy world where people use magic, but that doesn't mean that I don't find joy in the worlds that have these things. Amaranthia and Callum are OCs that I've had for literally a decade. It's almost half my life, and the longer I have them, the more they'll just be there. 10 years will become 20, will become 30, and each decade I'm sure they'll change just a little bit more. Become a reflection more and more of each cornerstone experience in my life. They are me in their thirst for exploration and knowledge, just as much as they aren't in their thirst for each other. There's tenderness in their soft interactions, left in the quiet of centuries-long pining. It's so bad, there's a consistent, steady hunger they fill through odd means. They have watched each other grow into better and worse people, and they still have passions, relationships, lives outside of their connection, but it all irrevocably ties back. They want the best for each other, but that doesn't mean much when their own doubts, so deep-rooted in themselves, it means that they don't believe that they deserve to be together. They are just inadequate enough. Intimacy in fiction is fun. Rare pairs and random ships are some of the things that I'm the most passionate about. It's this separation from myself where I just get to indulge in all the feel-goodness and jaw-dropping tragedy of a fictional relationship without any of the worries or discomfort I have about being in a real one. In lieu of like people liking fictional murders, you know how it is. Yeah, they burned down a building, but are they hot? It's a different reality, but that's what makes it interesting. Amy Callum are incredibly mushy-gushy, they're flirty, they're kind of freaky. I promise that this is a lore-relevant lick, but the fact that this is lore-relevant is so nuts. Amy, you gotta stop focusing on Callum making suspicious mouth sounds. This is not going to help the war. These two are so down bad, and the amount of horny jokes I've snuck into their little lives is immense. I am thrilled every time I get to feverishly draw these two. Hundreds of doodles and comics and illustrations and animatics, and oh my god, is that them in the palm of my hand? Holy shit. It's progress. Each and every time they get closer to being realized, the fullest versions of themselves. They are my reason for surviving through grueling school hours, labs, clinicals, my godforsaken job, because I get to see another life through their eyes, feel their joy through my constant doodling. Their dynamic is just weirdness, yes, but it is in the most ear-grinning way possible. Characters that I get to control how much I engage or don't engage with. A fascinating concept in their fantasy world that gets tossed around in my brain's ball pit. They make me fucking giggle and swoon for them. Not wishing I was them, just being happy for them. I want people to feel just the same amount of swooniness I have about these losers. I share art constantly about my characters to friends and strangers alike because they mean everything to me. They're everything I love to see. I can't help it. Just as much as I can't help my lack of attraction to real people. To like something in fiction doesn't always mean you want it in real life. Sometimes you want the exact opposite, and that's fine. It's all the thrill without any of the pressure, and these two, for me, are just that. Freedom from expectation. Since you made it to the end of the video, hi and bye, I have a fun extra story. The moment people found out I work in healthcare, still random strangers really thought and were insistent that I would get married to one of the doctors I'm working with. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know why so many people have like TV versions of healthcare staff getting sloppy with it. They've been Grey's Anatomied, but I'm gonna be so honest, I'm just trying to deal with the hell of being in customer service, but worse. Anyway, here's to hoping I get out of that. Okay, bye.